guys! Happy Inktober! Oh my god, day 1. So this is my second year doing Inktober. Last year I started late. I started a few days in. This year I'm like on top of things. I got all my sketches done. I am ready and prepared, kind of. Ooh. So, this year for Inktober, I am drawing all of my OCs, my original characters from my RPs with Bones, the other guy on this channel. So for day number 1, I am drawing Parker and Trish. They are from we call it the Monster Mash RP. We basically wanted to have a bunch of like monster boys and monster girls hanging out in college. So Parker and Trish are a cute werewolf couple. For my medium, I am using dip pens. In past years, meaning the one that I actually participated in last year, I used a whole bunch of different mediums. I tried out a whole bunch of different pens, like I used like Sakura Micron pens, I used a bunch of different felt tip pens, some brush pens. I tried a little bit of using a dip pen last year to not much success. I really liked it, but I didn't feel very good at it. So I, for the most part, just used felt tip pens, which I've used for a long time. It was a lot more comfortable with. But this year I have decided to use dip pens to do all of my inks. I really like the line quality. It's very crisp. It makes really crisp, nice, clean lines, because I know I can get very messy with my lines, so it's nice to have something that's gonna make things feel a little bit tighter, and I just love a good, tight, crisp line, my friends. But yeah, so first time really using them in the past year. Like, I've done a little bit of practice leading up to today, but honestly, it's really hard. It's very different than using a felt tip pen. It's taken some getting used to like, just the feel of the pen on the paper is very different. Like, because the dip pens are made of metal, they pick up a lot of the fibers on the page. So I found like, it's very scratchy at times. I'm not exactly sure like how much ink I need on the pen. I went and looked at some videos after I worked on this. And I think I used too much ink, but it still felt like not enough ink. Like, sometimes I'd put down the pen on the paper and ink wouldn't come out. So I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing wrong. But hopefully tomorrow I'll start to get a better hang of it. I hope. I think it might be hard to see in the video, but like, the lines turned out kind of like scratchy here and there and wibbly more than like, because normally like a line from these pens is very like super crisp, but there were a couple times where you could see like the nib split off into two, or like you could see like the paper fibers in it. Very strange and new to me, but still very fun. Like, I still really like the quality of the lines, and I'm very happy with how stark everything looks and how contrasty everything looks. That is my jam. I love a good black and white ink comics, really. Like, comics are my jam, but I love a good black and white ink drawing. Yeah, I am very happy with how things turned out, but yeah, I still need a lot of practice. So luckily I am doing Inktober, where you get to do nothing but practice ink. I'm also not someone who's like super used to traditional. So like, man, you gotta commit to those lines, my friends. As a digital artist, traditional is still very like, what to me? So yeah. But overall, I'm very happy with how this has turned out. For day 1, I tried to keep it simple and complicated. So like, instead of doing like a full body image, which can get very complicated, especially with 2 characters, I just did like a bust image. But I still wanted to add in a little bit of a background to challenge myself as well, because I'm hype. I'm hype, guys. So in addition to like learning how to ink traditionally, I also am doing Inktober to just draw my OCs, because I never draw my characters and my RP characters, because usually I'm like really focused on other projects, like my comics or other work. So yeah, it's just an excuse to draw my characters and talk about them. So yeah, Trish and Parker, they're super adorable. What do I say about them? So Parker is Bones' character. He is the fellow with the beard there. He is a werewolf. He's an artist. He's going to this college and living on his own. He was like mauled by a werewolf before he left for school. So he moved far away from his family because he's like afraid they'll find out he's a werewolf. In this RP, it's not like common knowledge that monsters are around. It's very like underworld, no one knows about it, secret, urban fantasy, that kind of deal. So he doesn't want to tell his family. He's afraid that he'll like bite them if he's near them. But he's got like a whole bunch of brothers and sisters and he loves them a lot. So he like misses them. He's like struggling a lot because, the werewolfism, changes his mood quite a lot depending on the moon phase. So when it's like full moon, he's like a full-blown werewolf. He has to like lock himself up in his house in case he attacks someone. But like as the moon goes from like new moon to full moon, so when it's like, I can't remember if it's waxing or waning, but as the moon gets like more and more full, he gets really moody, especially when it's dark outside, and when it's like very close to full moon, it even affects him during the day. So a lot of people find him like kind of hard to deal with because he gets really grumpy and mean and rude as the moon gets fuller. And he can't just be like, well, I'm a werewolf, because they think he's crazy. So in the RP, he meets Trish. At first thinks he's kind of weird. She still thinks he's a cutie. Because he is a sweetie. He's like this really sweet guy who's like really struggling with school because like, he's having trouble with relationships, and like the moon stuff like gives him anger issues where like he gets very like, I guess, feral and angry and loses his temper really easily. So, like, he keeps destroying his artwork by accident, so he can't submit it for class. So he's having a really rough go of things. And then eventually him and Trish begin dating. So, like, for a while, like, she, like, didn't know he was a werewolf. She just thought he had, like, PTSD, which he does. He has PTSD from being mauled by the original werewolf. He also has, like, nerve damage to his arm where he was bitten. So when they first start dating, she just thinks, like, okay, he's got some trauma that he's dealing with. That's fine. I will be accommodating. And she's totally cool with it. And then one day she, like, is at his house and he gets, like, werewolf claws because it's near the full moon and he, like, destroys a table and she's like, oh my god, what is happening? And so he, like, admits, like, I'm a werewolf. He does the whole, like, Edward Cullen, like, I understand if you want to stay away to be safe. And she's like, no, we can make it work. So yeah, so they keep dating. There is also, in this RP, there's many other monsters involved, including, like, vampires and, like, swamp monsters and zombies and stuff. And so there is a vampire in town who has, like, a mansion, and he kind of, like, takes in wayward monsters. And so, at one point, the vampire's wife, so the vampire's name, what was his name? Cornelius, and his wife was Lucy, I think? Lucy? Okay. Her name was Lucy. So she invites Parker to come live with her and Cornelius in the mansion. In exchange, she wants to do experiments to, like, try and cure his werewolfism. She's, like, kind of like a mad scientist. That's what she was based off of. So he moves in with her because he's like, yeah, I can't control all this werewolf stuff. I need help. So he moves into the mansion with Lucy and Cornelius and a bunch of other monsters that are other characters in the RP. And she starts giving him, like, starts experimenting on him and giving him, like, different amounts of silver and weird concoctions and stuff. And it leads to, like, there's a point where he's, like, stuck as a werewolf for a week. So he's just, like, a wolf hanging out in this locked room. And Trish, like, misses him and feels bad. And eventually she starts, like, hanging out with him when he's in werewolf form. Because, like, he's not snapping at her. So she's like, he's not gonna bite me. I feel really safe around him. It's fine. And then one day, when he is in werewolf form, she gets too close and he snaps at her and grazes her little hand. And at first she's like, oh no. it's fine, I'll just go wash it. So she's like, and she's just kind of like, it's fine, I haven't suddenly turned into a werewolf, I'm obviously not a werewolf, it's okay. And then she starts noticing changes in her mood as the moon gets fuller. So Trish is also turned into a werewolf. For a while he's very like, oh my god, I can't believe I've done this. He feels super guilty for like turning her into a werewolf. She's like, no, it's okay, I'll manage. And he's like, no, my life is horrible, you don't want this. And she's like, well, what choice do I have? So they go on and date more and are cute. It's an RP that doesn't currently have an ending. We're still kind of like on and off RPing it. Sometimes we'll get into an RP for a really long time and like go and do lots of plotty stuff and lots of fluff, and it'll go on forever, but sometimes they just kind of like peter out. So they don't have like a definitive ending to their arc yet. Right now they're just like cute werewolf couple that's like dealing with being a werewolf. They're having a little bit of trouble, as I remember, if I can recall, because they want to leave the monster mansion because they're tired of Lucy doing her weird experiments. But they're like, where else can we go? We're werewolves. What if we get out? Because like the mansion is very like secure. But yeah, so that is where they left off in their story. I really like these two. They're really cute. Oh right, Trish is a law student. She's from like a rich family, and she's got like a bratty little sister who also goes to college with her, and they were roommating together for a while, and the little sister had a crush on Parker, and then Trish met him and started dating. Yeah, it's an RP that was like had a big cast, and there's lots of like shipping opportunities and like friendship opportunities. So the characters have like all interacted with each other, but they're not all best friends. I think we'll talk about more of them later from the sketches I've done. There are more characters in there to talk about. But yeah, that is Trish and Parker. I really liked the werewolfism, the lycanthropy, is that what it is? Werewolfism? I like the werewolves in this RP. It was Bones' idea, because he came up with Parker, the first werewolf in it. Yeah, I like the change of mood depending on the moon phase. It adds a lot more tension to things, I guess. I mean, like, becoming a werewolf on the full moon is pretty bad already. But it just makes things harder. It adds a lot more conflict. Oh, right, and they also hate dogs. It creates, like, aggression towards dogs, at least in Parker. So whenever he goes near a dog, he starts, like, growling. And Trish she didn't know he was a werewolf, she's like, what is wrong with you? And he's like, I hate that dog. I just hate it. Oh, and they do meet other werewolves in the story. There's one werewolf who, like, she, like, hunts other werewolves, kind of. She tracks down Parker and, like, harasses him all the time. And she keeps telling him, like, basically just horrible, abusive things. Saying, like, if you ever go out and bite someone, I'm going to hunt you down and get rid of you. So yeah, she's not very nice. And then, the other werewolf they run into, there's a professor at their college who turns out to be a werewolf. And Trish is in his class. And then when she's turned into a werewolf, he, like, notices that she is now a werewolf. And so on one hand, he wants to help her because he's like, oh, being a werewolf is really hard, but like you can still live and have a good life. And I want to talk to you and help you because you're my student. But also, I want to attack you because werewolves don't get along. They're like very territorial. It's a cute RP. I really like it. And this picture was really fun to do. I hope this video isn't too long. Bones, cut the boring parts. Or me. Who's editing this? I don't know. Yeah, this image was very fun to work on. This image, this drawing, this ink. It was good. I have a lot to learn about dip pens and inking. I think the ink on Parker's shirt and Trish's hair distracts a little bit from the background. And, like, I think I layered, like, the brushed-on ink a little too thick here and there. And my lines are all weird. But it's a start, and I'm learning. So, tomorrow, maybe it'll be better. I hope. Well, thank you so much for watching day 1. I have exciting news! Bones and I are putting together a comic and short fiction anthology. It is called Moonlight, and it is about queer werewolves. So there's a link in the description down below to our submission guidelines. We're looking for comic pitches and short story submissions all about LGBT werewolves and werewolf stories. So go check it out if you're interested. We really want your stuff so we can have a really cool anthology. And I'm excited. Ooh. Okay, and the submissions are open from now, October 1st to November 31st, 2018. So get your submissions in if you're interested. Heck yeah. If you have any questions about the anthology or Inktober or anything, please leave a comment down below. I would love to hear from you. And if you want more content about werewolves and webcomics, make sure to subscribe. I'm going to be posting every day in October for Inktober. Okay, I better go. Goodbye.